Imagine authorizing a $1 million purchase for a whole fleet of heavy-duty excavators for this massive commercial building site.
Right, a massive capital investment.
Exactly. And you do it solely because the dealership showed you a promotional video of those excavators performing beautifully, but like on a freshly paved Formula One racetrack.
Which is, not exactly a construction site.
Not at all. I mean, sure, they cornered perfectly, they broke speed records on the asphalt, but the moment you drop them into, like, 3 feet of freezing mud to actually dig a foundation, the treads lock up. The engines just stall out.
Yeah, they completely fail under real-world conditions.
Right. And honestly, it sounds absurd when you say it out loud, but that is exactly how the construction industry is currently buying and integrating artificial intelligence.
It really is. It's wild to watch.
We are constantly hit with these massive charts and, impressive test scores from AI developers claiming their new model is the undisputed champion of the world.
Yeah, the marketing hype is relentless right now.
It is. But if you are managing a complex commercial build, those generalized scores, they do not tell you if the AI can actually read a dense contract and flag a liability trap.
Exactly. Because knowledge is only useful when it is applied to your actual reality.
Right. So today, our mission in this deep dive is to cut completely through that generalized marketing hype. We are going to break down a practical, scientifically rigorous framework that allows you to test these models against your highly specific daily workflows.
I love this topic because the foundational issue here is that the AI industry and the construction industry, well, they have entirely different definitions of what constitutes a hard problem.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Right. When an AI developer builds a new model, they measure its capability using these standardized tests that have become like the gold standard in Silicon Valley.
So we need to look closely at what those tests actually are, because once you understand the methodology behind all that marketing, you realize why the tools often fail on a job site.
Exactly. The acronyms are literally everywhere in the press releases right now.
Oh yeah, MMLU, human evil, math. Whenever a new model drops, the CEO posts a chart showing they beat the competition by like 2% on the MMLU.
Yeah, but nobody ever stops to explain what that actually measures.
Yeah.
Let's define them, because the reality is quite jarring when you actually dig into it.
Please do. What is the MMLU?
So MMLU stands for Massive Multitask Language Understanding.
Okay, sounds impressive.
It does, but it is essentially a giant trivia and reasoning test. It covers dozens of academic subjects. We're talking everything from high school chemistry to professional law and world history.
Wait, high school chemistry? Like, how does that help me pour concrete?
It doesn't. And then you have the math benchmark, which is exactly what it sounds like. It measures mathematical problem solving using, competition-level math equations.
Okay, and what about the other big one, human evil?
Right. Human evil is a specialized test designed specifically to measure how well a model writes Python programming code.
Wait, Python?
Yeah, Python code.
So if a company comes out and boasts about a blazing 90% score on human evil, they are really just proving they built a world-class Python coding assistant.
Precisely.
I mean, if I run a software engineering firm, that is incredible news. But if I am a contract administrator, a CA, managing subcontracts on a high-rise development, a Python genius is functionally useless to me.
Completely useless.
I need to know if the model can read a 200-page legal document and accurately identify unfavorable departure clauses, not write a script.
And that, right there, is the crux of the problem. A model could score a 95 on the MMLU, demonstrating like genius-level academic recall, and still completely hallucinate a liability clause when reviewing a real-world project specification.
Oh, wow. That's actually dangerous.
It is, because published benchmarks measure generic academic performance. They do not test localized high-stakes commercial tasks.
Right. They don't test if an AI can spot an error in a steel fabrication timeline.
Exactly. If you rely on those generic leaderboards to choose the software handling your commercial contracts, you are operating entirely on blind faith.
Which leaves professionals in a really tough spot. I mean, if the standard tests are functionally useless for the daily grind of construction management, the only logical alternative is to build a customized, task-specific benchmark.
Which is exactly what you have to do.
But, I mean, if I put myself in the shoes of a project manager who is already...
Married under 50 requests for information?
Yeah, buried under RFIs and delayed materials. The idea of, quote, building an AI benchmark, it just sounds like a massive 2-week IT initiative.
It sounds intimidating, I know. But the framework we're exploring today, it flips that assumption completely on its head.
Okay, how so?
It is fundamentally just a 2 to 3 hour protocol. You don't need to know how to code, and you don't need a data science degree.
Wait, really? Just a couple hours?
Yeah, that's it. The blueprint is simply pulling 5 to 10 real tasks using real documents from your past projects where you already possess the definitive correct answers.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Right, so you then run those exact tasks through the models you are evaluating to see how their output compares to reality.
Let's make this highly tangible for the listener. If we are testing AI for a commercial team, task number one might involve, let's say, the AS4900.
Oh, that's a great example.
Yeah, and for context, if you aren't familiar, the AS4900 is a standard baseline document for general conditions of contract. It's used extensively in Australia. It's basically the standard playing field.
Right, it's a known quantity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the test is to feed the AI a highly specific custom subcontract from a past job and ask it to extract all the departure clauses. Basically every place where this subcontract deviates from the AS4900 baseline.
That is a phenomenal test case. It requires the AI to process two massive documents simultaneously, understand complex construction law, and isolate nuanced differences in liability or, payment terms.
Right. And you run that prompt through Claude, then through GPT-4o, and then through Gemini.
Exactly.
And because you managed that contract last year, you already have the definitive list of departures sitting in your own files. You aren't guessing if the AI did a good job. You are laying its output directly next to the human-verified truth.
Spot on. And you could replicate this across every discipline in the business. Take an estimator, for example.
Okay, what's their test case?
Their test case is feeding the AI an RFT, a request for tender. The prompt is to identify all pricing impacting requirements hidden deep within the appendices.
Oh, that's smart, because those are always buried. Or for project management, testing the notice of delay, the NOD workflow.
Yes, the NODs are notoriously messy.
They are. A subcontractor submits this messy NOD. It's got handwritten weather reports, disorganized notes about a delayed concrete pour, maybe some pictures from a phone.
Right, total chaos.
Yeah. So the test is asking the AI to process that raw, unstructured data and draft a formal, legally sound extension of time, or EOT, notice.
Exactly. You can also test financial processing. Take raw, disorganized cost data and ask the models to produce a clean cost-value reconciliation, a CVR summary.
Okay, so we're talking about real daily grind tasks here.
Yes. The genius of this approach is that you're generating proprietary research. In the span of a single afternoon, you create a data set tailored exclusively to the unique operational risks and document structures of your specific firm.
Okay, so we have our 5 to 10 real-world tasks, and we have the outputs from the different AI models sitting in front of us. But this is where I see teams stumble.
How so?
Well, they get the results back, and they evaluate them based on a gut feeling.
Oh, yes. The vibes-based grading.
Exactly. They look at the drafted EOT notice and say, well, the formatting on this one looks professional, and it sounds confident, so let's just go with that model.
Which is a huge mistake.
Right. We need to talk about how you actually score these outputs mathematically rather than just relying on vibes.
Subjective evaluation completely defeats the purpose of benchmarking. You need a rigorous objective scoring system, which is where the 5 performance dimensions come into play.
Okay, let's break those down. What are the 5 dimensions?
Every single task you test must be graded against these 5 specific criteria. First is accuracy. This is the foundation.
Right. Did it get the facts right?
Exactly. Did it pull the correct numerical values? Did it cite the correct clause numbers without altering the context?
And second is completeness. This is huge.
Yes, very different from accuracy.
Right. If the human-verified list of departures from the AS4900 contract had 12 items, did the AI catch all 12? Or did it summarize and only give you 8?
Because missing 4 liability clauses isn't a stylistic error. It is a critical commercial failure.
Absolutely. Okay, so third is format. Is the output immediately usable?
Right. If you ask for a CVR summary table to paste into Excel, did the AI generate a clean, comma-separated table? Or did it just spit out a wall of conversational text that you now have to manually reformat?
Which defeats the point of the automation.
Exactly. Fourth is consistency. This is a big one that people, they often forget to test.
How do you test consistency?
If you open a new chat window and run the exact same EOT prompt 3 separate times, do you get the same high-quality result every single time?
Oh, I see. Or does the model perform brilliantly on Monday and completely fall apart on Tuesday?
Precisely. And finally, the 5th dimension is the hallucination rate.
The scariest one.
Truly. How often does the model invent facts, figures, or clause references entirely out of thin air. In professional services, an AI that confidently lies is infinitely more dangerous than an AI that admits it doesn't know the answer.
Okay, so knowing the 5 dimensions is great, but how do we actually calculate the score? I mean, are we just giving it a B plus? We need a mechanism to make this actionable.
You use a strict numerical scale, typically 0 to 5, for each dimension. But here is the critical mechanism. You do not treat all 5 dimensions equally.
Okay, why not?
You have to apply a weighting multiplier based on the specific risk profile of the task.
Okay, let's walk through an example of how that weighting actually works in practice. Suppose we are evaluating that CVR summary task.
Okay, perfect.
The goal is simply taking a messy list of material costs and formatting it into a clean table. Hallucinating a new building code isn't really a risk here because it's just sorting existing numbers.
Right, the risk profile is low for hallucination.
Yeah, but having to manually fix the table structure every single time, that defeats the whole purpose of using the AI.
Precisely. So for the CVR task, you would assign format and consistency a massive multiplier, say a weight of 3x.
Okay, got it.
Accuracy gets a 2x weight because the numbers need to be right, while completeness and hallucination might only get a 1x weight. So if a model scores a 4 out of 5 on format, that 3x multiplier turns it into 12 points.
You are prioritizing the model that builds the best tables reliably.
Exactly.
But if we pivot back to the contract review task, comparing the subcontract against the AS 4900, the weighting matrix flips completely.
Yes, drastically.
Because format barely matters there. I don't care if it gives me bullet points or paragraphs, but accuracy and hallucination rate are life or death.
It is a completely different risk profile.
Yeah, right. If it hallucinates a cap on liquidated damages that does not actually exist in the text, my firm could lose millions of dollars. So for contract review, accuracy and hallucination get the 3x or 4x multiplier.
Exactly. And this is how you translate abstract AI outputs into hard defensive business decisions. You score the model 0 to 5, apply the task-specific multipliers, and the model with the highest total score is definitively the best tool for that specific job.
Okay, so let's talk about the models themselves. As we sit here looking at the landscape in mid-2025, there are 3 major heavyweights that you are likely going to run through this gauntlet. What does the baseline look like right now?
So the landscape is dominated by 3 distinct architectures right now, and each has unique strengths. First, you have the Claude family, specifically the Opus and Sonnet models.
And what are they known for?
They are widely recognized for their deep contextual nuance. They excel at long-form professional writing and highly complex document analysis, like untangling dense legal prose in a commercial lease.
Okay, got it. Then you have OpenAI's GPT-4o.
Right. This is generally considered the ultimate all-rounder. It is exceptionally strong across a broad range of tasks and is uniquely responsive to complex multi-step system instructions.
And finally, we have Google's Gemini, specifically the 1.5 and 2.0 Pro models.
Yes, and the defining feature of Gemini is its massive context window. It can hold and process an astronomical amount of information at once.
Like processing a whole database.
Exactly. If your task involves analyzing an entire library of historical site reports alongside hundreds of pages of architectural schematics simultaneously, Gemini's architecture is specifically built for that sheer volume.
Okay, so here's the scenario that I think a lot of teams run into. You build the benchmark, you weight the dimensions correctly, you run the tests, and the final scores come back incredibly close.
So it happens all the time.
Right. Claude scores an 88 out of 100 on contract review, and GPT-4o scores an 87. They are both highly capable.
Yeah.
So how do you make the final call without getting bogged down in endless debate over a 1-point difference?
You look past the raw score and you evaluate the workflow integration.
Ah, the tech stack.
Yes, the AI does not exist in a vacuum. It has to live inside your company's existing technological infrastructure. If your organization relies heavily on the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, SharePoint, Teams, Outlook, then Microsoft Copilot, which is powered by GPT-4o, is going to integrate natively.
Right, because if the integration isn't native, the adoption rate drops to 0.
Literally 0.
I mean, if a project manager has to export an email, open a new browser tab, log into a third-party AI interface, paste the text, get the answer, and paste it back into Outlook, they simply won't do it.
No, they will just answer the email themselves.
Exactly.
Workflow friction kills innovation.
Right.
Even if Claude scored 1 point higher on a raw benchmark, if GPT-4o natively drafts replies inside the email client your team already uses all day, the practical ROI of GPT-4o will be exponentially higher.
That makes total sense. And conversely, if your firm operates entirely on Google Workspace, Gemini provides that exact same seamless ecosystem fit.
Precisely. You do the benchmarking to ensure the model is safe and accurate, but you let your tech stack dictate the final deployment.
Okay, so let's say the integration is flawless. You roll out the chosen model to the commercial team. They love it. It's saving them hours every week on EOT notices and contract reviews. You have successfully integrated AI. Can we finally stop thinking about it and just get back to building buildings?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And this leads us to the critical concept of future-proofing.
I knew there was a catch.
There always is.
Mhm.
The cadence of technological advancement in artificial intelligence is unlike anything we have dealt with in traditional construction software.
It's just so fast.
It is. In the past, you might adopt a new project management platform and run it untouched for 7 years. If you take that approach with AI, you will be left behind in a matter of months.
Right. A model that aces your custom benchmark today, proving itself to be the most accurate and reliable tool on the market, could be completely leapfrogged by a competitor's update in 90 days. The ground is constantly shifting underneath us.
Which means you cannot view this benchmarking process as a one-time event. You have to build a repeatable evaluation protocol into your operational calendar.
So what's the recommendation there?
The recommendation is to run your custom benchmark quarterly, or immediately following the release of a major new flagship model from one of the big 3 developers.
And the beauty of this system is that because you already did the heavy lifting, you already curated the AS4900 subcontract, the messy NODs, and the scoring matrix, running the test a second time takes a fraction of the effort.
Exactly. You just paste the same prompts into the new model and score the output.
But this requires a fundamental shift in how businesses view software procurement. You have to remain completely model agnostic.
Yes, do not get attached to the brand.
It is exactly like renting heavy equipment. You don't pour a permanent concrete foundation for a rental crane.
Right, that would be crazy.
Yeah. If a competitor down the street offers a new crane that lifts twice as much weight for the exact same daily rate, you return the old one and swap it out. You use the best tool available at that specific moment in time.
That is the perfect analogy.
If you structure your AI workflows correctly and you avoid getting locked into proprietary, inflexible platforms, the switching costs are remarkably low. When your quarterly benchmark data tells you that Gemini has surpassed Claude for your specific contract analysis workflow, you just switch.
It creates a culture of continuous optimization driven by empirical data rather than marketing loyalty.
We have covered a tremendous amount of ground today, and I want to distill this down into the core actions you can take right now. First, ignore the generic leaderboards.
Totally.
A high score on a Python coding test tells you nothing about how a model will handle a construction specification. You must build your own task-specific benchmarks using real documents and known outcomes.
Second, eliminate subjective grading. Score every model across the 5 dimensions: accuracy, completeness, format consistency, and hallucination rate.
And crucially, calculate those scores using multipliers tailored to the exact commercial risks of that specific task. And third, stay model agnostic. Treat AI as a highly fluid resource. Benchmark quarterly, prioritize seamless workflow integration, and be ready to swap out your models the moment the data proves a better tool exists.
This framework puts you back in the driver's seat.
It really does. It ensures that your firm is adopting AI based on defensive, rigorous proof, rather than just chasing the latest press release.
It forces the technology to prove its worth on your terms. But as we wrap up, there is a deeper philosophical tension hidden inside this methodology that I think is really worth considering.
Oh, I love these. What is it?
Well, the entire premise of this benchmarking framework is that we evaluate the AI based on tasks where we already know the definitive human answer.
Right. We use our old files.
Exactly. We are measuring its ability to replicate what we have already done.
Oh, wow. That is a fascinating point. We are using our past performance as the absolute ceiling for its future capabilities.
Exactly. If we only ever grade these models on their ability to perfectly mimic our existing workflows, at what point does human expertise become the bottleneck?
That is a wild thought.
Right. By penalizing an AI, anytime it deviates from the way we formatted a cost-value reconciliation back in 2024, are we accidentally preventing a superintelligent system from showing us an entirely new, radically more efficient way to manage construction economics?
Man, that's heavy.
It is a tension we will all have to navigate as these models evolve from simple text processors into genuine reasoning engines.
We want the AI to do the heavy lifting reliably, but we don't want to trap it inside the limitations of how we've always done things. That is an incredible valuable thought to end on. I highly encourage you to carve out 3 hours this week, grab a complex subcontract, pull a messy notice of delay, and put these models to the test.
Makes them earn their keep.
Exactly, because you would never buy that $1 million excavator without seeing it operate in the mud first. Do not let your artificial intelligence off the hook either. We will catch you on the next deep dive.